Hey guys, welcome to just a legitimately happy Friday of Happy Football Friday. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is the new Double Shot Show. That's our video program that we do live every weekday at 4 p.m. And today represented the first day officially of rookie minicamp for the Steelers over on the South Side. They actually were there yesterday. Sometimes when you hear first, it just means first day that the media was allowed in there. But the media was allowed in there. And the media was there. And the media was really happy to be there, this media. And before I even proceed further and share with you observations, viewpoints, whatever, I first want to make sure that it's clear that there's nothing really all that football-ish to see, meaning from an evaluation standpoint. This is what there is to be looking for. It's just 25 seconds of footage that we took over there as a staff. Well, that's it. Wise Polecat is just sold. Will Howard is your quarterback. He's seen enough there through the like that one shot that we have of him. There's it's just a good, healthy vibe. I look out there and I don't see problems. I don't see drama and situations. I just see a bunch of kids who are really, really happy, not just to be in the NFL, but to be Steelers. And in a lot of these cases, the undrafted free agents, the ones who are just in camp, this might be all they get. You know, they'll get this, they'll get training camp, and then, you know they have no chance. They just want to do everything that they can to impress as much as possible. There are some individuals who made a strong impression in terms of the way they carried themselves out there, who spoke well afterward in their interviews, and we're going to be getting to all of that first. But the one thing that I really want to share above and beyond all else is exactly what Bo Johnson says right here. It's good to see some Steelers football. It's good to see some Steelers out there. It's good to see them in a football setting. So often, how do I put this gently? In this line of work, you can get real cynical real fast, okay? A lot of your interactions with people, whether it's through something like this or through other communications, let's put it this way. Nobody calls City Hall up here on Grand Street to say, hey, you did a great job picking up my trash today. I just wanted to let you guys know you are the best at picking up my trash. Okay. All right. That's all I had. Bye now. That doesn't happen. Okay. There isn't a whole lot of that. But what you do have in this setting is all of it gets washed away. All of it is it's just good stuff. All right. When we come back, we're going to be playing for you some, quick interview videos with some of these guys. And Chris Halleck, who was with me over there on the South Side today, will be joining us as well.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
The one thing that I hope this program never is for anybody, or that they assume that it is, or anything that we do at DK Pittsburgh Sports, is that, the whole concept of negativity sells. Yeah, just get negative, say something bad, and everybody will get mad and they'll call you and they'll, we don't need it. We don't need to do this. We're doing it for fun. Chris Halleck joins me here. Second time I'm seeing him today. What's going on, Chris?
Oh man, it's a fun day. Some people said it felt like the first day of school. Some people felt like it was it was kind of like the first day at orientation before the semester starts. Either way, it's fun to see players on the football field again.
Yeah. It's like Rochelle says here. It's a nice breath. Nice breath of fresh air to see. And actually, it helps that the air is just fantastic. Everything just felt so clean and crisp and cool today. I know the players and the coaches were both really happy about the weather.
Oh yeah,
because they're kind of preparing themselves to deal, with some crazy hot temperatures this time of year, and they didn't have to do that at all here. James says, "Greetings, here we go." That's what I want today. Bring me the good stuff here. Steeler Girl says Will Howard is built like Ben somewhat. Now, Chris can tell you that when I was watching from the sideline, I had an observation about Will Howard and his frame that for me was stunning. He has the thickest legs I think I've ever seen on a quarterback. He has like hockey player legs. And if you don't know what I mean by that, hockey players have these crazy freakish thighs from the skating. Mm-hmm. And actually, they're not all Sidney Crosby has like redwoods.
Tree trunks, yeah.
Yeah, for legs, okay? Yeah. But Will Howard is out there, and you're looking at him, and I turned around to somebody else from the team, and I said, what's he look like? And I said, tight end. Yeah, he's built like a tight end. He's got these, actually, except that he's got thicker legs than Pat Fryermuth does. So I thought that was interesting in and of itself, because I could picture to what Steeler Girl was just bringing up, that if he stands in the pocket, and I haven't seen, we need to see him in action, okay? But if he stands in the pocket, he's going to be sturdy. People are going to bounce off of those legs.
Yeah, and today, people probably wanted to see video of Will Howard throwing.
No, he didn't even throw a football.
He didn't even throw a football today. It was literally a walkthrough. So, but they are. I mean, even just being there though, you get to observe the true beginnings of what life is going to be like for those guys. Entering their first NFL season, they're getting a taste of. I was sitting there watching for a while, watching Eddie Faulkner work with the running backs, because it's honestly the easiest one to see, because the running backs were closest to the building.
Right. They always are.
Right. But it's fun to see those guys take that in for the first time, because you see that during the season all the time. You see Eddie Faulkner going through all the drills and stuff with, over the years, it's been Najee and Jalen and all those guys. And now, obviously, you have these guys coming into the mix. Caleb Johnson and Kenneth Gainwell will obviously be brand new too. But it's fun to watch the rookies go through it for the first time and still see them be really excited. And there was some actual teaching going on. It wasn't just, hey, we're out here on the field. There's actual teaching going on. It's fun.
I got to share a good actual teaching story going on. Listen, I've made my case about Mike Tomlin. I've made my case about how I feel the franchise would be better off, or would have been better off, obviously a moot point now, going in a different direction after last season. I don't walk any of that back. I need to see real change from him. I need to see real change from how that goes. But I'm still going to share this story with you, because it's fair coverage and everything. The special teams guys are taking punts from a punting machine down at the far end of the field. And Danny Smith, who's out there for special teams, he's monitoring other guys. He's talking to them, whatever. He's not watching this. You would think this would be the lowest level coaching gig on the entire complex. Tomlin never gives this one up to anybody else. He goes and he stands right in the middle of the guys catching the football. I can't tell you how much I respect this. This guy's been in the league for 20 years. He doesn't need to be doing this.
Yeah.
And he's administering. He's not just standing there. He's not trying to, scare them or have his arms folded or whatever. He is administering advice every step of the way. And it's so pointed and so specific, where he'll tell them in the moment, listen, I don't care. I don't need you running after you make the catch. Just jog. I want you to just focus on nothing but the catch. We're looking for professional catches here. Bring it in. Make sure your toes are showing in the correct direction as you line up, and then and it was, I was actually down there down this with Pat Fryermuth, Matt Mason McCormick. They weren't participating. They're just watching. Okay, and Joey Porter and a couple of the coaches. And I'm just thinking, anybody could go out there and do this. Why is he doing this? Why is he doing this? Because it comes down to ball security. And to him, I'm sure that process begins right then and there. These guys just showed up at the complex. All he cares about is that you hang on to the football.
Oh yeah, this is the true beginning of these guys being taught everything about the way the Steelers coach up their players, and this is one of those times because you hear about, you see so much negativity about the coaching staff and Mike Tomlin, and man, I'm telling you, if you watch even one of these practices, and then you can still walk away and honestly say that these guys aren't coached up.
It's just not accurate. We say that all the time. The mistakes that Tomlin makes, the points that I've criticized him for, aren't at the instructional / developmental level.
No,
I don't know that I've ever even thought such a thing, much less spoken it out loud. We were kind of joking today that on the show we were going to get, how does Caleb look? How does so-and-so look? Whatever. I was actually making kind of a joke about it during some of the more boring drills, which you got to see on that little video earlier. But where Caleb Johnson is concerned, the one thing I will say, because this was a fun conversation too, for the whatever that was, hour and a half or whatever that were there, was who's he look like? Who's that frame remind you of? And I was asking some of the older veteran, other media guys that were over there on the sideline, who is it? Because I thought when watching him in the Iowa videos, I thought Rashard Mendenhall. And then you see him in person, he's not Rashard.
No,
Rashard was a big strong dude. Okay, for a running back, right? And the closest comp I got that made me nod my head was Joe Mixon.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Did you see that?
I've seen that comparison. I've seen Joe Mixon. I've seen Arian Foster has been another one.
Arian Foster came up once.
Yeah. So there have been a few different comps for Caleb Johnson, both in terms of the way he's built and the way he runs. I think Arian Foster's a pretty good one. I'm obviously I didn't do the full blown deep dive prior to the draft to do an NFL comp, but the patience is reflective of Le'Veon Bell, not a complete, imitation of it, because nobody was patient like Le'Veon Bell.
No,
but
George before him, but that's it.
Right.
The list is done.
Right. But the patience is definitely there for sure, to a certain point where it was kind of like, okay, when are you going to go? And then he would go, and once he goes, he's going. There's no, it's quite impressive, and contrary to what people think when they see the 10-yard split in Indianapolis at the combine. But yeah, I mean, there are a few different comps, but yeah, Joe Mixon, and if he turns into Joe Mixon, it's a good use of a third-round pick.
I'll take Joe Mixon all day long. Pie Guy says, does Will Howard have an NFL arm? We believe that he does, but I'm going to say again here, they weren't throwing footballs.
Yeah,
it was a walkthrough. They would go through the motions of a play, and he would look really invested and look around, and then
he's going through. He's going through the. Arthur Smith would call the play. He would let them know what personnel was coming up for the play, and he'd call the play, and they'd go through it. And so Will Howard is literally going through his progression in the play. Okay, this is my one read, this is my two, this is my three, this is my check down. Whatever the play is, and that's what you do in a walkthrough. That's what walkthroughs are. You are rehearsing the play.
That's it, and not actually executing it. Jay Mood says that Caleb Johnson's enthusiasm seems infectious. We're going to play for you here a question that Chris had for Caleb, and you're not going to be surprised at all by the answer. None of us were.
What are some of the things you feel like you need to work on the most? Not just
pass blocking.
Pass blocking,
that's my main thing. That's what I want to work on, and I'm working on every day after practicing. Just going over with the bag right there and hitting it, with Coach Faulkner, and really just learning from Warren too, because he's one of the best doing in the league right now. So, I told him let's do it. Let's work after every practice and do it. So he with it. So I'm down to go. So
have you heard about the backs on backers stuff going on in Latrobe at training camp?
What's going on?
It's
first day in pads. You'll do backs on backers. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
So.
You'll get plenty of reps to try to work on the pass pro.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Way to stick him with the backs on backers knowledge, Chris.
Yeah.
I love how you avoided though. Oh, kid, you're gonna hate this.
I mean, it is one of the true hallmarks of Steelers training camp. It is a sight to see every single summer. If you go to any training camp, and if you ever plan on going to training camp to observe practice, go on a day where they're wearing pads, because they could be doing backs on backers, and that alone is worth the price of admission, which is free. But
hey, everybody, Robert's in a bad mood. Robert says, Rudy destroyed the team. Stop sugarcoating it. And he does this with flames coming out of his nostrils. Like the alternate Calgary logo. Yeah. The snorting cows of Alberta. Robert's having a bad day. Take it elsewhere, my man. No time for this. We're having a good day here. Mark Cunningham says happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers in the chat. Man, I will second that. I will second that. I used to, when I was a kid, refer to these as Hallmark holidays. I didn't take them that seriously. You learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn,
I'm excited to give my wife her gift for Mother's Day, because obviously when you're married to somebody for a long time, you know them pretty well, and there are certain gifts that while you're looking for things that just come up and it just clicks. Well, it was one of those ones that just really clicked, and so I'm excited to see the reaction. It's fun.
See, Sebastian Sanchez comes to my defense here to an extent. Says that Caleb Johnson does have a similar stride to that of Mendenhall. Probably the only position that we could actually look at and see anything of any kind was running back, because at least when you would, sometimes you would hand them the ball. Like there was one time where Johnson was handed the ball and he showed the first step. This was really interesting to me. Looked no different than his fourth. Okay. And I'm not being an idiot here. I know it's not a game. I know it's not even a practice. Okay. But it stood out to me. And there were other running backs in the fold, and you could tell which one was the draft pick, which one was the main guy. I thought that was interesting. Mel wants to know, how did the interviews go? Well, how about if we play another one for you here, Mel? Because the first time that Derek Harmon was interviewed by the Pittsburgh media came today, and you understand, that you're going to ask, man, how you doing to the kid. Nobody asked him for his, to dig deep into his, emotions or whatever, or anything like that. But it was going to, I think on a respectful level, it was going to be the first thing that comes up, because you're not going to ignore it either. And here's the first, I think it's 2 or 3 questions that Harmon was asked today.
I'm doing the best I can right now. I'm doing the best I can. I'm in football and I'm in my element, so got my mind off a few things, but I'm okay.
What was the feeling when you came in and for the first time saw your locker, saw the facility?
Unbelievable, man. It was a dream come true. Got around my guys, my new teammates, and just ready to get to work with them.
How have you been able to handle the emotions of this is your dream come true, being in the NFL, but also dealing with personal loss?
I don't know. I'm still dealing with it. I don't know. I'm just putting one foot in front of the other. Really.
I will say this about the young man, and I said it the night that we were on the conference call with him, that he was drafted. His honesty, I don't know, I'm still dealing with it, is the most possible lay it all out there answer that you can give. I mean, he's saying in response to the question, I'm not there yet. I'm not even in a spot where I can, analyze it or whatever. He's impressive. And I'm also going to say that He's a big dude. Okay.
He's a very, very big guy.
After that session, he walked past me on the way into the locker room. And I'm not going to lie to you. What I did was I kind of did a Steph comparison with him, Steph onto it. And I don't know that he's Steph, but he's a big dude. And he looks like he could do some damage out there.
Oh, yeah. It's one thing to watch the guy on tape, and it's a whole other thing. I remember that he was actually the first player that I saw, because when we're walking in from the angle that we enter the field, the defensive tackles were the first line of players that were going through just stretches and jogging and stuff like that. And Derek was actually the first player that I saw. And of course, your eyes go to the guy you've been watching so much film on for the last several weeks, and I'm talking about prior to the draft too. And you expect to see him a certain way, and then once you see him in person, you're like, oh, okay. I kind of understand some of the things, but then some of the things, like some of the knocks or whatever, like one of the things with Knox was he carries too much weight up top. When I saw him, I was like, I don't actually see that very much. And maybe that's already preparing for playing in the NFL. Maybe that's already the Steelers work with him. But again, at the same time, look at what he's going through in his personal life. Like to hear him talk about, like, I'm in my element now. And you can kind of tell he's wanting to immerse himself in this. Like, you can kind of tell because, like,
it's a common reaction. I mean, it's just, you hear people talk about, that they'll dive into their work after some kind of tragedy, because at least the work, they have something else that's occupying themselves. But in his case, you could also tell that, and he talked about this at the night of the draft, that he's been doing this for a long time. I mean, this isn't new for him, because she had been in bad shape for several years, that he's put himself into football, and he has channeled doing this for her and everything. And you could tell. I was I was over by the locker room door as he was done, and as he was walking past, he was talking with Bert Loughton, media relations from the Steelers, and you could just see in his face that he was a little relieved that he did it. He got it over with. All right, now what? What can we do now? Not that anybody was tormenting him or whatever. It's just,
oh
no. Paulie wants to know if I've introduced myself to DK Metcalf. I mean, this was just rookies, Paulie. That's all this was. This is the first time that the facility has been open, not counting the draft.
Yeah.
Where we would even have a chance at colliding with the main members of the team. So I don't know if you were just saying that joking or whatever, but you probably were. Jay Moods wants me to tell that lady to buy that hat. I'm not doing that.
Telling people to buy merchandise. You're in here, buy it.
Yeah, who does that? Who's like, when you come in to buy something, you don't get aggressive with him. Say, hey, buy that hat.
Yeah.
Dr. K says, I agree, Sebastian. I lost my mom recently, and I don't know how that kid is able to function, not to mention having the composure to answer questions. He's fine. He's fine. And he said that. He said that. Let's we have another interview here that we can queue up, right, Chris?
I think so. I think it was Will Howard, possibly.
Will Howard will restore the levity to this episode. This is 11 glorious seconds of Will Howard.
That was just kind of the walkthrough, not really the practice, but it's just exciting to be out here, man. It's been my dream my whole life to be an NFL quarterback. Here we are, so I'm trying to enjoy it as much as I can.
The funny thing is, that's not an act.
No.
He's like that all the time.
No.
And the only time that I've seen him without that smile on his face was when he was out on the field actually executing the drills. And then after, you were saying, Chris, how he's looking for guys and he's going through his reads, doing the stuff that Arthur Smith asked him to. And after he would do that, he would kind of move in our direction. So I could actually make out his expression. And he was like locked in. Like this was not, do you know what I'm saying? This was not somebody who takes the football non-seriously just because he's smiling all the time. He does have quite some personality, though, and I have a feeling, Chris, because he is going to get a lot of snaps in the preseason. Think about it.
Oh, yeah, he should.
Because he's lining up to be a 3 one way or another, and a 3 always gets the second half.
Yep.
So
no, he should be getting...
He can be a hero is what I'm saying. He's going to be really popular with a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, and obviously the better he looks in preseason, the more people might even pound the table for him, even though, again, if Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback and he delivers wins, people are going to forget about that really quickly. But no, either way, regardless of who they add at quarterback, whether it's Rodgers or somebody else, another veteran guy, Will Howard should be playing well more than 50% of the snaps in each preseason game.
Crazy, right?
I would even say sometime in the second quarter, he needs to be coming in and playing the rest of the way. You want to get that guy as many snaps as possible against actual players that are wearing a different colored jersey, because the chances of him getting that in the regular season are pretty slim, obviously outside of injuries. So yeah, that needs to be, and I expect it to be something that they do with him.
Everybody wants to know if she bought the hat.
Yes.
She bought the hat. You guys.
There we go.
That's a real shop for hats, not the way boys shop.
Well, they're telling me they're like, tell her she's got to buy the hat. Who does coercive sales? I do sometimes. If I see somebody over at my book rack, I curate the books here. Oh wait, I can't do that. I thought this was my camera. But the books over there on that shelf, if you come in and you start looking at my books, I will come over there and I will haunt you. Especially the book about the 1925 Pittsburgh Pirates, one of the most amazing stories in Pittsburgh sports history, and nobody knows about it. Nobody knows about it. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, see, Jay Moods taking credit for it. Nice. Hat lady. Yeah, way to go. Joseph Donovan says he has no intention on getting excited for preseason games. Kenny ruined that. Well, listen, it's on you if you take it seriously. You can get excited about it. You can have fun with it. You can look for the stuff that does matter. You can look for, what was his name? The edge rusher. I used to use him as the model.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Freakish, unbelievably great shape.
Yeah.
He was just the preseason god.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys! I need your help here.
It's not Jeremiah Moon. This was a while ago.
Younger guy. It was about 5, 6 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I just can't think of the name.
Unbelievable preseason specimen. Yeah. And yet, when you got to, there he is. Look at that! Eric Tuzar is our guy. Yeah. Tuzar skipper. We got ourselves the skipper references are just pouring in. Ola had his moments. Ola did. Okay, but it is skipper all the way. Okay, skipper Tuzar he's going to be that for me for 10 more years. He's going to be that guy who just came in and just mopped the floor with everyone in preseason games. Fantastic stuff. And you do get people excited. Mm-hmm. There's no way you're watching a football. You're watching an NFL game, NFL uniforms, and all that other stuff, and you say, "Oh, this is what we want."
The main thing you want to see in preseason more than anything is, number one, everybody stays healthy, but number two, you want to see. You're trying to watch the process. You're not trying to watch actual results. If Kenny throws for 3 touchdowns, okay, well, what were the circumstances in which he threw 3 touchdowns? Who was he doing it against? Was he doing it against a whole bunch of backups? Was he doing it against a really bad back defense? When the Steelers went and played against the Bills and looked really good against the Bills in preseason, not last year, but the year before, I mean, they weren't playing against Buffalo's actual number 1 defense, even though there were some starters on it. Everything in preseason needs to be taken with the most hugest grain of salt ever.
Yeah, Kenny ruined it forever. Let's cut to the chase here. No, butthole. He did not buy a hat. He bought a towel. You saw him holding the terrible towel.
I think this is a different account because
The
Butthole
boss
is,
just. Oh, this is the butthole. Not to be confused with just plain old butthole.
that's what I'm saying. Like he has actually earned somebody else creating an account with this, like in his honor.
But she points out here, this is the difference between women and men in terms of how they shop. Woman came in, took her time, shopped around a little bit, saw the store, appreciated the decor,
Tried 10 hats about
tried so many different hats on. Every hat we have. Dude walks in, goes right for the official, never accept an invitation, Myron Cope, terrible towel. And
Hi, how are you?
takes it right off the rack, walks right to the register.
Yep. We go on with the game plan.
Cody's trying to bring us down here. Look at this. This was the 2022 Pittsburgh draft pad or bad. I mean, come on, man. Does the Pope do you know what? Even the new Pope? Did we figure out if the new Pope is a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan? Did that ever come out?
I don't know.
I thought there was some kind of significant debate going on about that.
That's kind of funny though.
That is grounds for judging somebody, by the way. If you're a Cubs fan, you're just okay. It's not quite being a Browns fan, but it's something here. You know, Reggie says that DK, you should have a monitor post on the wall with the comments from this chat displayed. No. Did you see that guy from Facebook earlier? Do you want me to put that up?
Seriously.
I'm angry with all of you. Be mean.
Oh.
Jay Miller says he heard White Sox fan. Yeah, everyone's saying White Sox. All right, so he's okay.
I heard God fan.
Huh?
I heard Cubs.
God fan.
No, it's not. Everybody says White Sox. It's all White Sox up and down the list here.
All right.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, if you're a Cubs fan, like, even God doesn't like you. We have looking at the rest of these here. We're somebody had a good question for us about Omar. Where did it go here? Thought I saw you star this one, Chris.
I did. It was something.
Omar.
Omar talked today. Like, so like I think I saw somebody like, did we?
Oh yeah, Omar did. By the way, he eventually met with the media, and
when he doesn't normally do it.
He's getting there, and I want to bring that up first.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to understand that this is a media collective that is very much used to hearing from the general manager like twice a year.
Yep.
Okay. And Omar will occasionally, as we're seeing now, encounter a situation where he just doesn't want something out there. And he will make an attempt spontaneously, pretty much like today, where he just, hey, I'm gonna come and talk to you guys at what time was it? 1?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. And I'm gonna talk about some stuff. And he'll talk about some of it on the record. He'll talk about some of it off the record. We're obviously not at liberty to ever discuss the stuff that's off the record. That's just professional decorum. But what he wanted to get out of his system on the record was, hey, don't be thinking of this George trade as some kind of punt on 2025. Okay. And he emphasized, and I really appreciated this because I'd heard this beforehand anyway, but it's nice to have it come right from his mouth, that this year is not last year when it comes to pursuing a WR2. So don't think that just because they didn't come away with one last year that they're gonna get somebody to replace George.
Yeah. The other thing that I, whenever the question of draft capital came up, and what's funny is like I was about to open my mouth and ask the same question, because 12 picks next year, I'm like, I'm going to ask this because I asked that question at the owners' meetings, and I wanted to ask it again after this trade. And he gave a much, much more pointed answer. It's like, you can see what we're doing. I mean, he pretty much said that you can see what we're doing. You guys can figure it out that this is what we're doing.
It helps so much to have a communicative GM. And I'm going to very respectfully here, because he can't know this, disagree here with Reggie, who says that Omar seems very uncomfortable in that setting. Omar is not he's not the world's greatest orator. He doesn't have the big booming voice that fills the room or anything like that, right? Omar's not at all uncomfortable because Omar is, well, to borrow from Derek Harmon's line, he's in his element. When he's talking football, when he's talking Steelers, when he's talking about what his goal is to win a championship. Our goal is to win a championship this year. Now, for anybody, and I saw somebody here a little bit ago saying, well, Omar, all he said today was that he's happy with his wide receiver room, which sounds like he's not going to do anything. What do you want him to? Of course, he's happy with his wide receivers room. Doesn't mean he doesn't want it to be better.
Yeah.
Okay. He even went out of his way to praise. Ding, 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 ding. Guess who? Roman Wilson, kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
He described Roman Wilson as being worthy of excitement right about now, as cause for excitement. Okay. That is significant stuff. Okay. So they're not going to bury. He doesn't have to come in and say, oh man, this looks really bad. I got to go get somebody, because it actually doesn't. It's just that they don't. This is the point that I've been making about WR2. They don't have one in-house. Yeah. It's not that they don't like Calvin Austin. They like Cal to be a 3. It's not that they don't like what they can get from the other guys. They can battle it out for whenever Arthur goes 4 wides. But they didn't have a WR2, and they still need to go get one.
Yeah, 100%. To go back to the whole draft capital thing, I wanted to actually read Omar's quote here in case you guys didn't actually watch the presser or see. He literally said, you guys saw how we did things in the offseason. That was obviously something that was in the back of our minds when we made decisions. We'll see how it all shakes out during the next phase of this. Of this what? And how much these guys play to determine where those comp picks end up. But that's obviously something we were cognizant of. They knew exactly what they've been doing this entire time. And I picked up on that at the owners' meetings immediately, that there is a long-term plan here. Yes, you don't have to punt on 2025, but my gosh, they are looking at that 2026 draft and salivating at the idea of not just adding a quarterback, but at the idea of having a whole bunch of draft picks to supplement that quarterback.
There's a lot they can do with that capital too, in terms of improving their positioning. Aaron Derrick is displeased with Omar. He says, I mean, most of what the guy tells the public and us turns out to be lies, like with George Pickens and him saying that they're not looking to trade George, then turning around and doing it the next day. I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to see this. Watch this. Calm. George was not intended to be traded unless the price was met. So nobody is lying. If the price wasn't going to be met, and you might have seen some interesting reports from people who cover other teams, and one that came out of Texas this past weekend that did a little bit of a random survey of other NFL front offices and found out that there was a good bunch of them that wouldn't have taken George if you gave him to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's not coming out of Pittsburgh, so that's not somebody kicking him on the way out the door. That's coming from somewhere else entirely, and it was from a reliable outlet. It wasn't some Joe Blogger. Okay, it was a real live media person who covers real live things. And the Steelers weren't going to do anything unless somebody approached them. Dallas makes the call. Omar says, this is our price. Dallas says, okay, let's do it. That's not lying, Aaron. I mean, how much clearer that can be to you? When people say things like this, they're not making predictions for the distant future. Circumstances change, stances change, situations change. I really, really feel like this just doesn't sink in with some. I'm sure a lot of people do get it.
The other part of this that everybody is forgetting about, and it's something that I wrote on our site on DKPittsburghSports.com that people really need to understand, is that 4 different times during his press conference did he say about this trade that it was a fresh start, that they needed a fresh start, that both sides needed a fresh start. What does that tell you about the situation?
You don't have to wonder. I mean, me and you don't have to wonder. We were there today. We heard from in every direction you turned, all you heard was, "Oh man, George is gone." Whew.
Exactly.
Okay, and if you guys want to say, well, why weren't we hearing that a month or two ago? But that's just human nature. He's in the building. He's with their team. They wanted him gone. They wanted him gone, gone. And those of you who think that football is a video game and that this shouldn't matter I'm sorry, I don't even know how to respond to that.
Literally, I can only speak from my own perspective. I have only had players on their own volition pull me aside to complain about another player, only about one player. And I mean, it doesn't matter if I've covered the Texas Rangers, the Steelers, the Pirates, the Penguins. I have never had, it's only been one player that's ever happened with. And that to me says a lot about what he was doing to that locker room.
And you find these things out by and large way more afterward than you do during. Okay, I'm going to give you a name here from the recent, very, very recent past in Pittsburgh that'll light a bulb for a lot of you, and that's Rowdy Tellez with the Pirates last year. When the Pirates got rid of Rowdy, it was like the last week of the season, and all the commotion was about how they did it so they could keep him from hitting his bonus or whatever. Players didn't care; they were just thrilled he was gone.
Yeah.
They were like, people are thinking, oh, the players are all going to be offended by this. Oh, what happens if they react poorly to this? Players were, some of them literally threw a semi-party in the clubhouse the night he was gone. I am not kidding. In one corner of the clubhouse. Yeah. And that's how that happens. Butthole. This is not the butthole. This is our butthole.
Wow. That is why he did that.
Yeah, you think so? Why are Steelers fans in such an uproar over the George Pickens trade when his past behavior and Omar Khan's track records suggest it was the right call? I hate to keep doing this, butthole, or anybody, but I see a real big separation here between the people who follow our coverage on our website and the ones who don't. Yeah. We've been letting you know about this for a long time now, how the Steelers and the players in the locker room has felt about it. If you aren't aware of that, and we've gotten a lot of people, including on these YouTube chats and so forth, who are saying, oh, man, I didn't know that. Well, come on over. DKPittsburghSports.com. It's free. We're not trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
And here Shaka's trying to blame it on the head coach. The George Pickens trade was more about how Tomlin can't control a soon-to-be superstar diva talent. Okay. Who was the only coach who could control Antonio Brown?
Seriously.
That to me is the beginning and the end of this whole conversation. Look what happened to AB when he left. Mm-hmm. Look what happened to a lot of these guys when they left. Look at Deontay left and he starts bouncing all over the NFL.
I mean, and the other, here's another side to that. The reason why he put up with Antonio Brown for so long was because, well, I don't know, he was the best receiver in football for several years. George Pickens, as talented as he is, has never been that guy. He's had like 1,000-yard season, like insane talent, but takes plays off, misses assignments, late to meetings, late to games. Like that kind of stuff does not, and Tomlin's not going to sit there, especially after what he did to deal with Antonio Brown for so long, and be like, this dude's not even putting up the same kind of stuff.
See, yeah. Then there's this too. We're going to get back to rookie camp. I swear, because I'm not getting dragged down this. Okay, but John says some fans are willing to forgive George Pickens' behavior because they see success through his skills. Success, as it's defined by Pickens' performance, is that he will do one thing every game that just blows your mind. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you will say this is just a generational epic talent. Look at the body control. Look at the concentration. Look at the combat. Look at everything that he did. But you are, as an athlete, as a team, rightly judged by your body of work. Mm-hmm. And his body of work, his statistics at the end of a given season are exactly exactly reflective of his overall performance, pouting, lack of consistency in his production, the lack of numbers in terms of volume of catches because he can't go over the middle. There are real flaws to this, but we live, I believe, in a culture of highlights rule. Okay, highlights rule. Here again, I'm going to draw another baseball parallel for you. The Pirates have one of those. O'Neal Cruz will hit a ball 700 feet and it'll go 200 miles an hour, and all of social media lights up. 118.8 mph exit velocity and a 47 something launch angle and everything. But if he goes 1 for 5 on the day, what did he do?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Or if he makes one of those ridiculous bonehead errors or whatever out there, try to see through that stuff.
Yeah. And I'm trying to
think
of
the
right
impact on his teammates.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the right way that I can put this. Based off of conversations that I've had with people on the inside, and that's as recent as today, they fully expect George Pickens to go to Dallas and be very good because he's a very, very talented receiver, and he's going to be playing alongside CeeDee Lamb, and both guys are going to open up space for each other.
And they also, let's be fair here too. This is fair to George as well. They're going to be playing with a better quarterback.
Yes.
Okay. They're going to be Dak Prescott, especially the one we saw here not that long ago. Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than anybody that George will have played with, and that includes the good period that he had with Mason Rudolph. Dak Prescott's a better quarterback.
Yes. All of that being said, they still feel that this is the right decision for their franchise. That's all you need to know. Like, that's all you need to know, that there is a very, very talented player. Nobody can deny that. And yet they are willing to take a 3rd round pick to say this is a better decision for our franchise. That is all you need to know about this decision.
If anybody came late, Chris and I were at the rookie mini camp today, and we opened this show in a good mood before you guys dragged us down with all this stuff. But it was newsy though, because Omar Khan did talk about it today after the sessions that was had on the field here. But overall, I want to get here comes Chris with bringing us back to this. Really enjoying watching Caleb Johnson and Will Howard with the youthful exuberance. They're not alone in this regard, and I hope that Will Howard's personality, and which is just it just radiates. I mean, he's really, really obvious with this stuff. I hope it doesn't dwarf, how do I put this, the reality or what the expectations should be. Not that you want to put a low ceiling on him or whatever. He's a young man who's coming off a college national championship and was really at his very best. Like, best quarterbacking of his life came in the 4 most important games, which is all 4 of the Buckeyes playoff games. But let's go easy. I see a lot of things about Howard that's like, he's going to start and he's not doing that.
No, he's going to be the number 3, because everything is going to change the second that Aaron Rodgers signs his contract, which could be tomorrow. It could be 6 weeks from now. Who knows? But the second he comes to town and it's Aaron Rodgers and Mason Rudolph and Will Howard is all of a sudden taking 3rd reps during every drill at training camp, things will change. They just will, because then the concentration is going to be on how does Rodgers look, obviously, if he's going to be the starting quarterback. And then also, how does Mason Rudolph look? Because if things fall through with Rodgers, how's the guy who's his safety net gonna play? That's going to be the focus.
As for I found this to be inconvenient, but not that they should script their practices to convenience me. But the defensive guys were mostly on a second. Okay, you knew I was going to say this, but mostly on a second field. And we sent another reporter, Jose Negron. You have to go around the side here to handle the defensive stuff. So I didn't really lay eyes on anything that Derek Harmon or Y.A. Black were doing or whatever. But any impressions of them? Actually, any impressions of them at all from you, Chris?
Again, the main thing with Derek Carmen for me, because I'm not judging off of anything that you see on the football field. The main thing that I took away was just the way Derek Harmon is handling himself. And yes, Y.A. Black is a massive human being.
Scouting report ace.
Oh my gosh. He is huge.
I never saw him. I never laid eyes on him.
Oh my gosh. And the thing is that he's got this like really this haircut that makes him seem even taller than he is. So he looks like he's like 6'9".
That's cheating.
It is. And it's
also a great move on his part,
oh,
though.
Yeah. No, granted, you're not wearing you're
The helmet,
you're wearing a helmet on the football field, but even at 6'6" and 340 pounds, yeah, you're a massive human being. So it's impressive to see those guys. And still, there is not one person that impresses me more with their size and movement ability than Darnell Washington on this football team. It still blows me away.
He's just unfair.
If you see his listed weight at anything under 300 pounds, they are lying. He is definitely not under 300 pounds.
He's just unfair. Yeah, Robert Sham says you actually did see him, DK. You just needed to be in orbit to realize it. That's very good.
No joke. They are massive. Can't say they didn't add size to that defensive line. That's for sure.
No, there's sign. It was a good feel over there today. I really enjoyed the entire experience. I enjoyed being around football people, talking to football people, having them ask me questions about baseball was the only downer because they knew where all of my attention was the past few days and everything. But it was nice. It was nice to be around them. They do have, by the way, officially speaking, they have 2 more days of rookie mini camp. It's something of an illusion. The one tomorrow is just another one of these. It's just an exact replica of this. And then Sunday's not really. Like Tomlin will say, we're canceling it and we're taking everybody to a movie, or he takes them to Kennywood. He's actually done that. He will take the entire rookie camp to Kennywood.
Yeah.
Now, you want to talk about, are you tall enough to ride? Here comes. Somebody needs to get the photo of Y.A. Black standing next to Kenny Kangaroo as a wooden cutout. And send
good.
Derek Harmon over to Kitty Land while you're at it. You know what I'm saying? Have some fun with it.
Gosh, yeah, that'd be funny.
Or even better, put them both on the back row of the Jackrabbit together.
That'd be funny. That's actually really that's funny. That's my daughter's favorite. That's my daughter's favorite ride at Kennywood, by the way.
Well, make sure she never falls for the peer pressure the way a lot of us have.
I know.
Okay, here it goes like this. Yeah, it goes like this. You're supposed to. Never tell this to your kids. In fact, if they're watching this right now, just chase them out of the room.
I pretty much already know.
You know this one.
Yeah.
You get in the back. People think it's tougher. You get in the back. It's got more of a whippy thing, right? No seatbelt. Hands up. When you do the double dip at the end, you swear to the Pope who likes the White Sox that you are about to die. You're just toast. It is simultaneously terrifying and exhilarating. Do not ever do this, and do not ever repeat that I had anything to do with this.
Dude, trust me, I already knew about that story. I remember having a couple of
double
friends
dip
of mine.
of Kennywood. Sorry.
Yeah. Nice double dip of Kennywood. There you go. Yeah, that's been a story that I've heard about. I got guy's the best man at my wedding, has lived in this area for his entire life, and yeah, I've heard about the stories of that. And yeah, make sure every time at least I'm with them, they won't be doing that.
Don't like Houston Mo says here. DK Savage. I'll never try that. Do not.
Don't.
Do not.
Yeah.
Okay. What's this was thing? Jackrabbit was
it's
great.
Still great. It's still great.
Well, when did it stop being great? Is it the second or third oldest roller coaster?
Something
wooden
like
coaster in the world.
Yeah.
It's 125 years old.
We
something
took,
like that.
Yeah, last time we took the kids to Kennywood. Last time we haven't gone this year yet, but last time we took them, I think we rode it like 3 times.
Yeah, what's this ride. Was stuff? I'm not into this at all. Somebody else has to. They still have the Jackrabbit. It's a national historic landmark.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't tear it down if we wanted to, my man.
No.
Aaron wants to know where we're doing this from. Welcome, first of all, Aaron, to the show. This is our downtown headquarters and shop. It's all things in one. This is where we meet with the staff. We had a baseball meeting here yesterday to talk about how we're going to cover that rotten team, that whole rotten operation moving forward. And while we're here, as long as we're right here on Fifth Avenue with the street front, we decided to, why not sell some stuff? So we do that too. There. Oh, you're welcome to come down, by the way, anytime. 224 Fifth Avenue, Tuesday through Saturday, 12 to 6. We just do our work from here. It's pretty simple stuff. So, Chris, I will see you again on Monday.
Yep.
All right.
Sounds.
Lots of business to take care of today. I appreciate you guys knowing enough to hang around after that segment here. Wandering Warrior became a member today. Welcome to you. Butthole is always good for a gift or so. I've become way too comfortable saying that. I need to,
Be more appreciative.
Yeah. No. I didn't mean whether my level of gratitude. I'm just talking about saying butthole.
That's like you made a new account. It's the butthole.
Victor dropped 20 gifts on you guys. So don't thank us. Thank Vic. He's always coming through. David came in with $1. Cody with a couple. Damian with 5. That's all appreciated. Stella, she says she wanted to drop $5 for a Turner's tea. Actually, $5 gets you a lot of Turner's tea. Was that like 3 of those little jugs? Yeah, I think they're $1.50 each, so $4.50. So yeah, I get a pretty good amount of Turners here. Thanks, Stella. John dropped 5 gifts. Stella with an additional 10. Rick has one for the boss here. It's a $20 gift for Mother's Day for Dolly.
Thank you.
The wind beneath the wings of DK Pittsburgh Sports.
Well, it's a PK.
No, you're going to pick on him. He drops 20. He hands you $20. You're going to correct this hypo.
Funny.
No, it's not funny.
Well, I thought it was funny, Rick.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Russell dropped $1. Levi with 10 gifts. Jay Miller with 5 gifts. And it just wouldn't be this segment without Carrie leaving us 1 there. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate everybody who's with us all the time. Look at the memberships. You notice how every time you look down and you see 2,426, and yesterday it was 2,300 something. The nicest thing about that figure is that you're not seeing the big dips anymore, which means people are getting the gifts, and then when they expire after a month, they're saying, hey, I'm going to hang around. I'm going to do this myself. That part's pretty neat. Mr. CJ puts it exactly correct. This is lots of people leaving the uncle's table. That's what it is. All right, guys, we'll be back next week. I want to let you know that I did hear from Ramon Foster. He wasn't able to make it in this week. Never worry about Ramon. Ramon will be back when Ramon's ready. Ramon's got a lot going on in his life. And the way our approach is here, and we tell him this all the time, when he's here, it's a blessing. We're thrilled to have him. I'm grateful to have him. And he loves being here. He just can't always pull it off. He has a lot of jobs, this man. And some of his jobs, by the way, are the non-paying type, meaning the dad job. He is doing a lot of traveling. That was where he was this past weekend, taking RJ Ramon Jr. To a baseball tournament that was out of state. So we'll have all this stuff for you next week, as well as rounding up the rest of the rookie mini camp, I should say, events for you. So see ya.